Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a video on what is your cervix, why you should measure or should not measure, and how to measure while picking up a menstrual cup. Because there are just so many questions that I receive, and there are so many posts on Facebook groups that I read that are related to this confusion around cervix length and whether you should measure or not. We have a little model of female reproductive system over here. So these are the ovaries, fallopian tubes. This is the uterus or the womb where the fetus grows, and this over here is the vaginal opening, which will be right between your legs. This is the uterus where all the blood gets collected and comes out of the body through this little opening over here, and this is called the cervix. And when we say we need to measure the cervix length in order to pick the right menstrual cup, we are talking about this length. So between the mouth of the uterus, which is the cervix, and the vaginal opening, this length. And why I would recommend people to measure is because that is where we are wearing the menstrual cup. Most manufacturers say that you don't need to measure and their cup is going to fit everybody, but no one thing is going to fit every woman, because we all are different from outside. Inside, our bodies are different, our organs are different sizes. So one cup that fits most women, maybe 70 to 80% women, does not mean will fit every one of us. You could get lucky and the first cup you buy and pick up and without measuring might be the perfect one for you, but that does not actually mean that it's going to fit everyone. And if you don't want to be the unlucky 20% woman who had a very high or a very low cervix and the cup that you bought did not fit you, then you'll end up buying another cup. So it's better to measure. I'll give you a few examples over here. So if in this case where the cervix measures approximately my entire first finger over here, so I can go for a medium to slightly long cup. So I have a bund cup over here, for instance. So it sort of fits over here, right? And you can see that the entrance has the cup right there. So anything even like a few millimeters longer than this would stay outside the vaginal entrance, and it can be a pain while walking around. And if you use a cup like that, then you can end up getting sore over there. So even in this size and this case, I wouldn't recommend this cup because it can be a little uncomfortable. Then I have a stone soup wings cup, and when I place that over here, there it's comfortably inside and there's still some room after wearing the cup. So this cup would work perfectly fine. However, if this cervix was a lot higher, I would not recommend a cup like this, because then this would say move quite deep inside, and when you're removing it, you are going to have a difficult time in trying to remove that cup. So in a very high cervix case, I would recommend a cup like this. This is a moon cup over here I have. So when it's a very high cervix, you're wearing it and the stem of the cup is just inside the vaginal opening, you can easily find the cup like this, push it down with your muscles and just take it out comfortably. Another poor example over here would be a very small cup. So for example, I have a Mi Luna shorty cup. If someone with this cervix length is wearing this really short cup, will also have a hard time trying to remove. However, if you have a very low cervix and this cervix was say up till here, then this cup would work perfectly fine for that woman. So it's a personal preference. Like I said, most cups will fit most women, so even if you buy without measuring, 70 to 80% chances are that the cup will fit you and it will be comfortable. But there is a possibility that the cup is too short or too long for you and you might end up buying one more cup after that. I have previously done a video on how to measure your cervix with the help of diagrams of female reproductive system. But I'll briefly explain it again over here with the help of this new uterus model that I have. The best time to measure your cervix is during your heaviest flow, because at that time it's the lowest. So even if you had measured it at some other point, or when you were not on your periods and you measure it to be almost 3 knuckles of your finger, then it's possible that during the periods it came down to 2, and then you will need a cup accordingly. Measuring the cervix is not a very complicated thing to do. You just need to insert your finger and check and feel the cervix inside the vagina. So when you insert, and you just have to see at what point you could feel the cervix. The cervix feels like the tip of your nose, and the texture of it is very different from the rest of your vaginal walls. So if you have touched the cervix, you won't be able to miss it because it feels so different. You will know for sure that yes, this is my cervix. And at that point, just check how much of your finger was inside. So if the entire finger was inside and you still cannot feel anything, then that means you have a very high cervix. And I will recommend going for longer cups or cups with a long stem. If you were able to feel it with just about your entire finger inside, then that means you have a high cervix, and you can go for most of the cups. And it's just to give you an idea that if that is the length of the finger and this is where you could feel, then just measure that and get a cup length accordingly. It's totally impossible for us to measure it accurately, 100% accurately, but we just need to get a rough idea of how much is the cervix length. And say you were able to feel the cervix with just two knuckles of your finger, or maybe just one knuckle of your finger, then that will also give you an idea that you have a very low cervix and you need a shorter cup. A common mistake a lot of women do is getting confused with your pubic bone and the cervix, because the moment you insert the finger to measure cervix, first you'll encounter is the pubic bone. But the texture of pubic bone is going to be similar to the rest of the vagina, and it will feel bony and hard. So you should know that that's your pubic bone, and you will be able to further insert your finger after that. Once you hit the cervix, there is no more room for you to insert your finger further inside. So these are the 2 points you can remember, and make sure that you don't confuse your pubic bone with your cervix. So I hope these little tips were helpful and you're going to pick the right cup for yourself. If you really don't want to measure, then don't go for a very long cup. Try and get a medium length cup with a stem, and then it should most likely work for you. And if you don't mind measuring, then please do measure. That is what I recommend everyone, because cups are also not biodegradable. You don't want to buy one that's not going to work for you and spend more money on another cup.